The Denver Broncos had a huge victory on Sunday over the Atlanta Falcons. The Broncos are back, and Bo Nix is on his way to be in the Rookie of the Year conversation. It's all happening right now. What's up, guys? Dover on Denver, and we got to dive deep into this Broncos game. What we watched against the Atlanta Falcons might have been the coming out party for Bo Nix. If anybody is out there still doubting, why? What the heck are you waiting for at this point? What else does this young man have to do to show you what he's shown me? That he is the face of this franchise. He is the savior of this franchise, and he's bringing them back out of the darkness that is the NFL. What else do you need to see, people? He has done it. We've talked about struggle, improve, excel for weeks, if not months at this point about Bo Nix. Well, he certainly struggled. He has certainly shown improvement. And yesterday, there were big-time moments of excel. He made some NFL throws that we have not seen him make. He is in complete control, command of the offense. Everything is slowing down for this dude. He is going to be in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. I know what Jaden Daniels is doing there in Washington, and I'm not taking anything away from that young man. But Bo Nix is here. That was Sean Payton, who's starting to take the training wheels off. Shout out to my man, Cecil Lammey, who wanted that weeks ago, is now starting to get it. Bo Nix is the reigning player of the week with a loss. He should be that again in the NFL with what he did, carving up those Falcons the way that he did. He's currently the reigning rookie of the month for what he did back in October. Now, he lost a couple games in November. Baltimore was bad, I know. Kansas City should have got the win, but field goals are tough for some people. Now you're looking at beating the Falcons. You're going to get a very winnable game coming up next week. You can go 2-2 in this month and put up some giant numbers. You're going to be another candidate for Rookie of the Month. So for Bo Nix, I don't know what else the kid has to do. I got some numbers that I want to share with you. Bo right now, 2,300 passing yards, 14 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, 300 rushing yards, 4 more touchdowns on the ground, and he has a record of 6-5. Jaden Daniels, again, not taking anything away from him, but there's not this big gap of talent between the two that a lot of NFL fans, maybe casuals, think that there is. Here's what Jaden has done. Jaden, in his games this year, where they do have one game better record than the Broncos at 7-4, he's thrown for 2,300 passing yards, 2,338, 10 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, does have more rushing yards at 482, same amount of rushing touchdowns with 4, but that 7-4 record. Both of them have favorable schedules coming up down the road, especially over the next month or so. We're going to watch the Broncos play the Colts, the Browns, you got the Chargers again. So there'll be some favorable matchups. The Commanders have that same sort of situation where they got the Cowboys twice left on their schedule. He's going to dominate those fools. So where they're at right now, Jaden's probably still the favorite, but man, that gap is closing. He will be in the conversation for Rookie of the Year, as he should be. Notice I haven't said Caleb Williams. It's Jaden, it's Bo, and then it's everybody else. Drake May's even starting to look a little bit better than Caleb has at times. So, yeah, he might have been the 6th quarterback off the board, but he's like 1B when it comes to production at the NFL level. Bo, he's in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. Should be Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. Something else I wanted to talk about is what he was able to accomplish yesterday. He joined Peyton Manning. Anytime you join Peyton Manning on a list, that's pretty dang cool. He joined Peyton as the only rookie quarterbacks to have multiple 200-yard passing games at home and multiple touchdowns in those games consecutively. He joined Peyton Manning as the only 2 quarterbacks to ever, in the history of the world, Craig, to do that. So that's a nice hat tip. He also became the first quarterback to have 4 touchdown passes, 300 yards passing, 0 interceptions, and a completion percentage of 80% or more. Nobody has done that in their rookie year outside of Bo Nix. Again, what other evidence do you need? I'm presenting the case for Bo. You should be buying the information. He is going to be in the running for Rookie of the Year. I want to talk about what you should be doing as a fan. And what you should be doing as a fan, I should take a little bit of my own advice on this, is getting greedy. I have said going back to the start of this season. It was all about finding out who Bo is. What is he? Can he work with Sean? Will it be a better quarterback coach relationship than it was a year ago with Russell Wilson? Well, the answer to that is absolutely it is a better relationship. But now what can you do? They're on their way to 9 or 10 wins. You get to 10 wins, you're probably in the playoffs. And this is where I want you to be greedy as a fan. We got the answer about Bo. He is the dude. Anything else after this, playmakers identifying themselves, being in the playoff conversation, that's just extra for the year. Now, they have both of those things happening right now. Cortland Sutton has identified himself. How about what we're seeing out of Devon Vele, who's a stud coming out of the 7th round? Troy Franklin finally catching the football. That's nice to see. So maybe he identifies himself as a playmaker. And Marvin Mims, they're finally found a role for that guy to play in. So you're starting to see some of these pieces around it. Got your quarterback. Have to identify who some of the playmakers are going to be. But you're on your way to 9 or 10 wins. This is where you can get greedy as a Broncos fan. You're not really supposed to be in this conversation until next year. That's what I thought coming into this season. Turns out I was wrong on that. But you can be super greedy because wild card weekend, you're sitting with 10 wins. All right, hypothetically, you're at 10-7 and wild card weekend comes around. There are going to be a handful of AFC teams doing everything in their power to avoid you, Denver Broncos, as that first round opponent. So Broncos country, I want you to be greedy. That's what's great about being a fan. You're crazy. You get to go crazy every single week. That's why we love sports. Get greedy and maybe even have it as an expectation, but don't be too disappointed if it doesn't get there because this is all extra. Remember, it's about 2025 when they get a little bit more dough, get a little bit more flexibility, and the first time in, let me check my calendar, 84 years, they have all their draft picks. So next year, they can really, really be a big player. But you as a fan, you should be getting a little greedy with what you're seeing right in front of you right now because 10 wins, a wild card berth, and then you're playing with house money at that point. You've got nothing to lose. That's where your head should be as a fan as we move forward with the Denver Broncos. One more point with these Denver Broncos. Outside of Bo being great, being in the Rookie of the Year conversation, and you as a fan getting greedy enough to want and expect that wild card situation, we got to talk about the defense. What Vance Joseph has done now in back-to-back weeks after a beatdown, an embarrassing performance against the Baltimore Ravens, this dude has responded in the right way. And of course, it's the Jimmies and Joes. He's drawn up the X's and O's. But man, VJ has been outstanding. We wondered, all right, kind of got embarrassed there by the Ravens. Would your name still be brought up in the head coaching conversation in the circles in the offseason interviews? I wasn't quite sure after that game. Now where I'm at, I believe that he will be back in those conversations. Does he get a job? That's a whole nother conversation, but he'll be a part of that process. He'll get interviews with Jacksonville, with teams like Chicago, perhaps even give him an opportunity there. But VJ has this defense right back on track. I did notice something in the Atlanta game that made me, all right, I kind of put it in the back of my head. Jaquan McMillan. The Falcons identified something with number 29. I know it was number 29 because I kept seeing the back of his jersey over and over and over and over yesterday. It's out of character for him because he's been really good in the limited role that he plays. But Atlanta saw something where they could take advantage of it, and they were just not to a big enough capability where they were going to lose a football game. So the defense is outstanding. That interior line is unbelievable. Zach Allen is a monster. Nick Benito got another one. He's now pretty much a game away from getting to double-digit sacks, first time since 2019 that would happen for the Denver Broncos. Malcolm Roach got in on the fun yesterday. John Franklin Myers, we know what he is. And by the way, Jonathan Cooper just got $60 million, so they know who he is as well. That defense, that was a fluke, what happened in Baltimore. You ran into a high-powered offense, and you got beat with 1, 2, 3, 4 different playmakers for the Ravens. I don't expect anything like that to happen the rest of the way. Now, I mean, knock on wood or whatever this table is here, barring you find the Ravens again in the postseason. But again, that would be all that extra that we're talking about. Those are my 3 big takeaways from the Denver Broncos. Bo's the man, baby. You found your franchise quarterback. Broncos country, get greedy. It's about the playoffs now. And VJ and that defense, they are humming and ready to roll. All right, since you're here and you're hanging out, why don't you go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and follow button. Tell all your friends what we're doing here on Dover on Denver. Do want to give a couple of minutes to the Buffaloes, who found a way to win despite not playing very good football against Utah on Saturday up there in Boulder. First and foremost, they're on their way to the college football playoff. They are on their way to the college football playoff and perhaps a bye in the first round of the college football playoff. They're going to win out. Now, Kansas is no cupcake or no gimme. You got to take care of the Jayhawks, and you got to take care of Oklahoma State. I believe they'll do both of those things. You do that, you get to your 10 wins. Then you could be looking at BYU or Arizona State in the Big 12 championship. You're going to do that as well and probably win that football game. Could be looking at all the way up to a 3 or a 4 seed. By the way, the consolation prize, if the committee gets this wrong, I do not believe they will, is like a 5, 6, 7 seed where you host a playoff game at Folsom for the first round. You want to talk about a party and how that would look? I'd have to get myself up to Boulder. So they're on their way to the college football playoff, and they're going to be a top seed. I believe that they're going to be getting a bye in that first round. Now let's talk Heisman. And if they don't get this right, do we just boycott the Heisman? Is it all over at that point? Travis Hunter, he didn't even have that great of a game, but had another touchdown, had another interception, a couple PBUs in that game. If he's not the Heisman Trophy, throw the Heisman Trophy in the trash and never recover. All right? Because this dude is the best college football player on the planet, and it's not even really that close. I think the only question I have about the Heisman is, will Shedeur be there as a bro, or will he be there as a finalist? That's pretty much it. Travis is going to win. Now, who else is around him in that room? Last one about the Buffaloes. You still worried about Deion leaving? You shouldn't be, right? You hear any of the conversations from the weekend about where Deion is? Big Noon did the interview before the game and talking about how great it is and the situation that he's found himself in. I believe Deion is here to stay, and I believe this is just the tip of the iceberg as to what we see with the Buffaloes. They could be in the college football playoff. They could have a bye in the first round of the college football playoff, and this could just be the beginning for what Prime is doing. He's doing this with 44 transfer portals players and a handful of recruits. Now you've won and you have some success. You might be the Big 12 champion. What's the transfer portal going to look like then? What kind of living rooms are he going to be sitting in after a Big 12 championship? The Buffs are in good hands, and they're in Prime's hands for the foreseeable future. So that is what I'm thinking about with your Colorado Buffaloes. Broncos and Buffs rolling. What a great time it is to be a Denver sports fan. Really appreciate you being here with us. Remember, it's Dover on Denver. You're here already, so do it. Hit that like, subscribe, and follow button. It's Dover on Denver. And now I'm done.